Hi guys, my name is Meads. We're going to take a look at Loongon. This is their mold kit, and basically an adaptation on the super deformed Sangokuden Tolgis. And a very interesting one in particular. So here's the box. It's quite big, as you can see. It's probably as big as a master grade, or maybe a bit bigger, a little bigger. And number 9030, I'm not sure. I don't think they made 9,000 figures yet, or kits. But yeah, very interesting. This one does have an inner frame, does have a base also, or a stand, which is great. And you can put on the armor. Really cool. Hence why I got this. Just a very, very interesting mold kit. And does come with a variety of weapons, as you can see there, which we'll take a look. So there we go, that's Lv Bu. A very interesting kit made by Loongon. Alright, I'm gonna go check it out and build it. Maybe let's go with the inner frame first. Alright, we got the inner frame here. Very interesting. It's always that little bit of doubt when you're trying out third-party mold kits. That is it gonna work out, or is it gonna just flop? I had a fair share of both. So far, MC Model is keeping up its reputation. I really like their mold kits. Quite solid. I think the other one was... I tried the Super Deformed Appion, I think from Silver Castle. I can't remember the name, but that was really sketchy. I tried building it. It feels like I'm building a wrestling kit with pegs and just a little bit of a headache. Same thing with that unicorn that I had with the LED. That didn't really work out too well. But surprisingly, in this one, Loongon is fairly decent. Actually, I mean, after construction, it feels solid. Not too much problems. Although, you got that stiff polycap. Let me just grab a hold of the... You're gonna have this polycap right here. It looks like your regular polycaps, but it's very rigid. It's like plastic. I mean, this is flexible, but the polycap is very rigid. It's not like your regular Band-Aid polycap, so trying to put it on is a bit of a struggle. You either have to trim the peg or make the peg hole bigger by just running your hobby knife around it. And again, be careful. I managed to put it all together. Not too bad. Just, again, like what I said just now, but that's it. So, looking at the details, really nice. This is just the inner frame. And we get a fairly good movement. So, something tells me this just kind of like the frame arms. You have a basic inner frame where you put on other armor. Which, not too bad. Pretty good idea, actually. Oop. Just pop it off the peg. There we go. And fairly good elbow bend, as you can see there. There's a swivel in the bicep. Ball joint over there. Again, gotta be careful on those. I mean, it's a rigid polycap, so you're just pretty much plastic friction right there. So just careful, you don't want to break that peg. Fairly nice. And I got more hands here, which I haven't taken out yet. Some of them are holding, and I think you only have one closed fist. And most of them are for the right arm, right hand, not so much for the left. And hip movement, you got midsection, even the waist. And knee bend. Again, really nice 2 points articulation, kind of like the elbow. Then you get the foot here and movement. It does connect all over here, the front part of the foot. That's really cool. A lot of very articulated inner frame, I have to say. Really nice. So I think that's about it, and I'm gonna go ahead and continue adding more armor pieces and finally get to the armor part of Lv Bu, which will be cool. Alright, so let's go get at it. Alright, got around into putting all the armor together. And a few things, you're gonna be replacing the head, because this one doesn't have a peg or any kind of attachment to connect on the helmet. So you're gonna swap it out. And what else? I'm gonna swap out the foot. I'm gonna have something like that right there. And you have the weapon right here. So the problem with the weapon is it's really nice, as you can see here. But the holding it is a problem. So I actually use blue tack to help me support that. Kind of give you a demonstration. So this is the left hand, and doesn't hold it quite nicely. Some of my mask, well, maybe it's just too heavy. Well, supposedly it can hold dual wield, and even then you got that problem. So still too loose. The problem is this right here. It's one of very flexible hand, but it's not tight enough. It needs to be a lot more closer grip. Kind of wish it's more enclosed, but that's what they gave us. Anyways, moving on, you have the handle here, which you can take out. So this is for the dual, combining the two weapons, and you do have a one to hold it here, so you can wield it with one, and another on this right here. And this is you can separate this if you want to. The guard right here, kind of just like keep it there, so you can dual wield. And another cool gimmick they have is if you take this out, if you remember which side is which, it's always a little tricky. So just bear with me, I'm trying to fill my way in. There has to be a better way to do this. Okay. Same thing with this. Take that out, and you can combine it here, like so. And you can put the circular part here, but I'm not gonna do that. It's gonna be hard to take out. But you can dual with that, you know, pretty much a similar weaponry. I'm not too sure what kind of, what do you call this? Some kind of sort of sword or axe. And I'm just gonna put it the way it was before. I should just kind of like it this way. It looks like a spear. And put this back and combine it again. So that's that, and so not too bad for a weapon. Just a little bit of troublesome to hold it. I mean, he can hold it, but it kind of leans to one side. Wrist peg, it's too loose also. Everything's too loose. But not too bad. And before I continue on, the stand is another issue. You're gonna have a couple of actually call this dowel. That's kind of interesting term for it. So you have 3 of them. One long one, medium, and a short one. I think I just used the medium. Is this the medium one? Yep, it's slightly shorter. And you get a bunch of this connector parts for the base and to the kit itself. Now this one is a bit troublesome to screw in. There's a screw on one side. Some of them doesn't really go all the way in. And you have a couple of this to hold the mold kit. As you can see, I'm not using them because this is too small. Doesn't really quite work on the back of this. I think if you have the inner frame by itself, it will work, but with the armor, does not work. And you have this one, which I'm not really too sure where to, for this to hold. It's like a robotic arm, and it pegs like this. So I mean, it works if you can get it there somewhere, but I'm not using it that way. Luckily, this one does have peg holes on the side of the thighs on both ends, inner and outer, as you can see there. I think this is used for weaponry on other I mean, they're using the inner frame possibly for other model kits, and that pegs were in right inside there quite nicely. There is no pegs for where it usually is, but again, it works, and he leans a lot forward, so I'm trying to, there we go. He's not really quite back heavy, although you got that purple, I'm not sure what you call that, something on the side of the head. Scarf maybe? Well, it's not really a scarf, it's kind of like a bandana. And you do have the binders here, which is great looking. As you can see, got the wolf like, and you do have a peg hole there, which it's kind of loose for some weird reason. Did I break it? Just okay. That really bugs me. Just curious. Oh, okay. Okay, I think I know what I did wrong there. So one of the issues on this one is connecting the polycaps. There's a polycap right there, and connecting that is actually quite troublesome on a lot of the parts here. You have to widen the peg holes. Yeah, it's just really snug fit on some of them, and it's easier to just widen them. And to widen them, you just run your hobby knife around the peg hole, just slightly scrape off some of the plastic, and that pretty much does it. Unfortunately, I think I did a little bit too much on this part here. Yeah, so you can overdo it, so be careful. Like that. That's gonna bug me. Oh well, I like it to be like that. So that's that, and just going along with that, I don't know, that statement makes sense. You can take this out, and there's a peg right there on the purple part, and you can connect it right here. There's a slit right there, and connect on the forearm. Now you have a gauntlet that looks like a werewolf, which is really cool. You can do it in both hands, or both arms, I mean. And I'm just gonna put it back here, and there we go. Oh, almost there. And I'm gonna take this out of the stand, kind of go over the articulation. There we go. So a couple of things I find a little bit of nuisance is the waist. It's a little loose on upper thigh. I'm not sure what. Maybe it's just the ball joint mechanism. Sometimes it stays, sometimes it doesn't. Another thing is this is on the polycap right there, and it's connected, just hanging, and it's not really a secure connection, but I guess it works. So going with the articulation on the head, you get actually fairly good movement. You can look up and down, really nice golden crest. There is a seam line right there in the middle, because this the silver part, you sandwich it right in the middle, so may need a little bit of hobby cement to fix that. Shoulder can go up that high. It's in a separate armor, and you can go up. And elbow articulation, pretty much the same. And then again, you get the wrist movement, interchangeable hands. Waist, it has its own waist articulation down there, but for the most part, the upper torso is the one that moves a lot easier. Then you got the side skirt, which is on that polycap right there, and you have this front skirt that's separate, and this part here that moves side to side. On the back, you have a back skirt that's just a straight peg, so just swivel back and forth and can pop out. And I just realized that thing's still there. Just take that out. There we go. Put this back on. And we're pretty much already covered the binders. Let's see. Actually, you know what? Let's take that out. Going forward, you can move the feet up like so. Although that's kind of in a way. Bend the knee, so you still have that really great knee bend. And you have a bit of articulation there. And an occasional that this on a ball joint, not really secure, the shin guard will fall also. But despite all that, I mean, the design is really nice. I like it. Again, just needs a lot of work. And I think that's pretty much it for the review. Kind of wish the hands works. I mean, this pose here is not too bad. But the hands, holding the hands, you just gotta make use of having some blue tack on that. And I think that's pretty much it for the review. I don't want to drag on. If you're able to find this, that's great. But again, I highly recommend getting this if you're going to paint it. For casual modelers out there, I would advise not to. The grade is, again, kind of like a no grade 1/100. It's not a master grade, so don't keep your hopes high. Although it comes in a big box. It's just a lot of packaging. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. Hope you guys like it. Again, if you have any questions, suggestions, or any comments, leave them down below. And for those who've already tried this out, let me know how's your worked out and if you have painted it. There we go. So until then, this is me. Thank you for watching.